What if I told you Charlie Munger is wrong on just one thing? Leverage. That's what he's wrong on. My name is Marshall Strong, and if you haven't seen this channel, welcome, subscribe, like that. Hit the like button, smash the bell so you guys can be informed daily. I sold real estate for 22 years, 2,000 homes sold. I've been investing, teaching, coaching, selling. It's all I do. But really what I'm doing is developing my mindset. So Charlie Munger, I was listening to him last night, and he was speaking against leverage because of all the books he read, of all the mistakes that were made, of companies leveraging over leveraging. But what the companies really did wrong is they didn't adapt fast enough. That's what their issue was. It was actually not raising enough money. The more money you raise, the better off you will be, as long as you're being responsible and you're doing it correctly. For instance, the first step everybody should take is buying a home, and then a second, then a third one. I had 38 doors by the age of 38. And I say that to impress upon you that anything is possible. I came from a very poor background. I won't get into that. But anyways, so the mindset is really where it's all at. Charlie Munger was basically born right after the Depression. The Depression is why a lot of people do the things they do, and it's how they control us as a society by keeping us minimal. So now think about that, the Depression. And I just talked to a pastor. I'm going to bring in some church stuff too, some spirituality, and question some things on that. So this past year, okay, I'm jumping around. So many thoughts for you guys today. So Charlie Munger is talking about not leveraging, about saving and paying everything off. It's incorrect. Dave Ramsey teaches that. And you will be comfortable that way. You'll be comfortable if that's what you want. If you want excellence and growth, you must leverage, because yes, you will make mistakes. Less with a mentor, a lot less. But there's going to be $1 million mistakes. But what if you never made those mistakes? You would never be the person that could hold and handle the amount of things, people. Now let's switch this right now to spirituality, because I ran into a pastor I've known for over 10 years and I love him. Him and I think a little differently on a couple of things. Not very much, but very differently on a couple of things. And this is the scarce mentality, in my opinion. And it's the way that spirituality keeps people limited. And this is what I do not like about it. I don't think it's spirituality. I think it's religion. Religion keeps people small, comfortable. Spirituality wants you to grow. Pastors that preach and tell you not to leave their church, and people church hopping and yada, yada, yada. Well, maybe they outgrew where they were. Maybe they're still growing. Maybe they're not. Sometimes people leave and go to, maybe they're leaving for the wrong reasons, and I get that. But there are some people that just leave because they outgrow it. What do you mean they outgrow it? Well, what if you are in a place where you're reading, listening, pastors and Bibles every single day, and you want to go to different churches? Is that okay? Now, what you'll see when you do this is that civilization, community, people in general, they like to stay in cliques, groups, and they do that because they stay comfortable there. However, comfortability is a slow death. So I actually was richer than Charlie Munger at a younger age. And I did this because I focused, I stayed on one thing, and I leveraged. So I've learned a lot along the way, and I learned a lot from Charlie Munger, but I analyze everything. I don't just listen to people. I listen to them, kind of like ChatGPT. I have people tell me, oh, they're getting their scripts from ChatGPT and all these things, and that's amazing. But you need to think first. There's a time to use ChatGPT, and there's a time to think, because what happens when you stop using your muscle, your AMS? So there's a RAS in your brain. It's called the reactivated articulative system in your brain. And this is the part that recognizes things that are important to you. This is why vision boards are important. This is why your surroundings are important, and your beliefs and your faith and your thoughts are important, because what is important to you, you will bring into your life. So if you're worrying all the time, you'll bring more of that in your life. If you're grateful, and if, let's say you get a woman pregnant, or you buy a new car, and all of a sudden you see it everywhere. You see pregnant women everywhere. You see cars everywhere. This has happened to me on those two things. And you'll wake up and realize, wow, they weren't important to me before, so I didn't see them. So what is important to you, you will get. So ask yourself, are you seeking comfort? Is it easier to have money or not to have money? That's my question to you. Is it easier to have money or not have money? Because I've had both multiple times over, and I truly believe it's much, much easier not to have it. Now, that was my old belief. Let me change that. So that's who I was. But it really is easier to have it, but you have to grow into that person to hold it. So it's, being poor is more selfish than being rich, in my opinion, after analyzing over 30,000 hours of research. So I've been selling homes for 22 years, 2,000 homes sold at a 0.01% level. And during that, I've just been coaching people, training people to get to the next step. That's all I've been doing. Transactionally, just get them to the next step. The faster I do it, the better I do it, the more I can learn and understand people. I'm able to educate them more. So this is why I read 2 to 3 books a day, and I don't really tell people that because they'll think I'm effing crazy, but I'm going to start using that word. I'm getting rid of the F word. So thanks to you know who, and I'm going to send this to you. But going back to the pastor and him and I, our biggest thing is the money thing. And if you think about it, most pastors are not wealthy. The ones that are bringing more people to the Lord. Now, I analyze it from all perspectives, and what I've concluded is, in order to grow to higher heights, you will go through more pain. Most people will stay in their comfort zone. So the pastors that have 20 people, 100, 2, 3, 4, you can almost tell the size of their growth by the amount of their members. Now, this doesn't mean they're not all great, amazing people. And I don't want to offend anybody. I love everybody. But I've been going to different churches. I've been analyzing and just trying to understand which direction I should go in. Spirituality is my number one, God, creator of all things. But most people are living in a scarce mentality. And this is how I lost my first $1 million. And this is why the abundance mind switch has been, with the thermostat in your head, is where you live. So what does that mean? It's a whole nother talk. I could talk for days, but I'm going to end it coming up on 10 minutes. And do me a favor, if you got any information, if you stayed this far, please smash like, comment your favorite part of this video. And I'm going to tell you an amazing story at the end of this to really get you to open up your mind and get you to that next level and get you to 10 extra income, because it's really easy. It's easier to make more money, but you have to become the person that makes it easily. So having poor is being more selfish, in my opinion, 100%. And here's how I'm going to test anybody that doesn't agree with me. Because I believe like them. And this is what kept me limited. I'll never help as many people limited as I will limitless. So if I'm driving Ferraris, which I don't even like, if I'm driving Rolls Royces and all these things and I'm getting more people, I mean, I'll have a bigger way of making a difference. Like Andrew Tate, you may not love him, you may hate him, it doesn't matter. He's influenced so many people for 99% better. 99% of what he says is correct. 98. So leave the 2 and take the 98. Most people will look at the 2 and not talk to them and stay right where they are. That's what you're doing to me right now. Maybe you're looking at my red nose. Maybe you're looking at my teeth. Maybe you're looking for a reason to not do what I'm saying to do. But what I'm telling you is go find out for yourself. Research. I know I'm right because I've done enough analyzing, and I'm smarter than ChatGPT still. And I know this because I've thought of things it doesn't think of. But most people will never do that. So Don't rely on everything else to make it easier for yourself. It's good to use, but don't become useless. The AMS, I went RAS system. AMS, I think it's the AMS, amygdala something. I'll tell you guys later. It's something new I heard that's research done on it. It is the willpower muscle, which could also be known as the faith muscle. So, is it easier to have millions and billions of dollars and say, I'm going to go get billions of dollars and give it all to the world, than it is to keep preaching scarcity and not money, and I love God so much that it's not about money, and I won't take money, and I won't do anything for money? What if you could help more people with money than you can without? And that's a limiting belief I think that a lot of people have right now. And I know because I had to understand it, and I had to lose $1 million. So if you haven't lost $1 million, you may not have gone through this, but you don't have to. Most people will never make $1 million. So I've been growing and growing, exponentially growing, reading 2 to 3 books a day the last 2 to 3 years, at least a book a day for the last 10 years, and getting perspectives from everybody. And I might not be 100% right, but I can guarantee you I'm 99% more right than most people out there. With that being said, I'm going to elevate, and it's going to bring the hate. Speaking of hate, I got to end with one more thing on the hate, because the pastor brought up something. He said, God hates sin. This is what I'm in with. God hates sin. God hates sin. If you hate, I told him hate, because before he said that, we were talking about hate, and I said, hate, I don't hate anything. Because hate is such a, I tell my kids, don't say this, the word hate. But why does God hate sin? I'm going to analyze this myself. Why does God hate sin? God wants you to go towards the good. But didn't God create sin? Because God created everything. So God also gave you the ability to think for yourself. So sin is not good. Everybody knows this. Joel Osteen preaches everything positive, which I love, and a lot of people hate on him. And you only hate when somebody's doing better than you. So if somebody's hating around you, they're probably hating on you, and you need to get them out of your life. So I'm going to wrap it up with this. Whatever you think about, you bring about. So if I think and feel abundance and feel love and feel grateful and feel thankful, no matter what happens to me, it's all going to be a good thing. I remember one time I lost 4 escrows in one day. That's over $40,000. And I remember I just used that to fuel me. Like I wasn't met. I had gotten to the level. And there's times I've lost millions of dollars, and I just use that to next. Because I don't think you can become a millionaire without making mistakes. Get a mentor. Great way. However, the more mistakes you make means that you're growing, as long as you're learning from your past ones, you're not repeating them. But I know things that most people will never know, because I went through things that most people have never gone through. And that's why I do this YouTube for my children, and a little bit of therapy maybe, because people like to hear themselves talk and like to think and like to speak. Most people complain about these things all day long, and I don't complain about anything, because you get what you talk about, you get what you think about. So why would I want to think about poverty? That's my question. I want to live in abundance. God gave me this life to live it to my fullest ability. And if I get to my fullest ability and I tell everybody in the world, do better, be better, love God, love Jesus, go be abundant. Go be abundant. Go make as much money as humanly possible. That means I would give the churches 10% more than anybody else. So that saves more lives. So I'm not saying you need money to be happy. I'm saying don't take it out of your life. And that's something that I believe a lot of people have from a scarce mentality from their childhood, and the ego will keep them there. The ego will keep them there. I'm not driven by money anymore. I was driven by money. I thought making $1 million would give me what I needed, and it doesn't. But growth, let me back up. So we can trade, right? We can trade things. I can trade services. I don't need money because I will find food. I will help people. I don't need money. But when you live in abundance, it's kind of like comparing, we used to be, so being a pastor that doesn't preach prosperity and just preaches fear and sin and all these other things is like having real estate, right? Real estate, you can buy it, appreciate. It doesn't really appreciate. The dollar loses value, so it increases in value because the dollar loses value, so it doesn't even appreciate. It's the same price. So, but it's an asset because it holds its value, okay? It holds its value. But Bitcoin is something new that you can transfer, and it's more versatile, and it's way better than real estate, okay? And I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh my Lord, I love it. For the love of money, man, shall. I love the ability to be resourceful and to have freedom. And that's what money and Bitcoin and upgrading your own personal mindset is going to bring you. So guys, I'll leave you with that. If you made it to the end, give me a 10x, please. If you made it to the end, I love you guys. We'll see you guys on the next one. God bless. Peace.